Okay, hey guys. What's up? I gotta say, playing these games has really made me crave like a World Darkness game. Um, it's made me crave a Chronicles of Darkness game. um, as I said in my first video, I prefer the Chronicles. It's just personal taste. It appeals to me more than the classic World Darkness does. Except for Sorcerer's Crusade. I like Sorcerer's Crusade more than I like Awakening. And that's relevant because we're talking about Mage the Ascension. If you arranged it like Mage the Ascension, Mage the Awakening, Mage the Sorcerer's Crusade, I like Ascension least, actually. I have no opinion on Mage Dark Ages. I don't, because I have no experience with Dark Ages. Yeah, I think, actually, Sorcerer's Crusade is basically the only game line, where I like a classic version more than the newer Chronicle version. I'm rambling, so let's just continue. Day 5, Monday. I forgot what I was doing in this game. Alright. You wake up when the doorbell rings. You have a massive headache. Holy shit. What the hell happened last night? Was it real? The rational part of your brain is screaming in protest, but the rest of you is pretty sure that what happened actually happened. The lock rustles as Alex lets himself in. He sits down on the edge of the bed. "Hey you," he says and kisses your forehead. He smells of cold air. I brought breakfast. It takes you a moment to realize it's your day off. "Hop into the shower and I'll make coffee," Alex says. You stumble and... Pushy guy, isn't he? You stumble into the shower and turn the heat up until it's almost unbearable. The hot water clears your head some. When you come back out, the apartment smells of coffee and fresh bread. "Did you hear?" Alex says over breakfast. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Are having a meeting in Limham tomorrow at 5. Jimmy Atkinson will be speaking. I just butchered that. I apologize to all my to any Swedish viewers for butchering all of that. Limham, again apologies. Malmo's posh western district is the prime spot for them to be heard by the right people. The now mainstream Sweden Democrats have skyrocketed within the last few years, and the refugee crisis is fodder for their rhetoric. "We should be there," Alex continues. "We can't let them speak uninterrupted." You nod. "Yeah." I have no idea what the political situation in Sweden is, so I'm just kind of at a loss. You consider telling Alex about yesterday's events. "Listen, something weird happened yesterday." He'd think you're crazy. He'd think I was crazy. When Alex has left for work, your phone chirps. It's Nazar. "The migration agency is putting us in a temporary shelter. Can you meet up tonight? Your place?" "Sure," you reply. 8. You put the phone back down on the table. Mona and Nazar might have some answers. The atmosphere at Nordic Aid has been one of suppressed anxiety all day. You're not sure why. Perhaps it's because of the 3 screaming infants that just came in. Perhaps it's because there are more people than usual. Perhaps something trivial, like the fact that you've run out of black tea. You can't tell what starts the argument. At exactly 5 o'clock, a man punches another in the face. For a short moment, the whole place falls silent. The calm before the storm. That just happened. Get out of the way. This is going to be bad. You could stop it before it happens. You might be able to calm them down. I'm gonna try to stop before it happens. Ah, fuck! You run to the storeroom and take out your phone. Okay. So we're doing the time travel. Time travel is just the solution to all life's problems. You run into the storeroom and take out your phone. The watch says 17:01. You rewind it to 16:58. When you come outside, you spot the 2 men in the middle of the cafeteria and walk up to them. "Oh, I didn't go on a trippy vision quest this time?" One of them, a short man in a blue windbreaker, is speaking into a phone while the taller one looks on, fidgeting. After a moment, the short man ends the call and drops the phone, and you catch it. The tall man lets out a short left. The tall man lets out a short laugh and accepts the phone. He thumbs in a number and brightens, speaking rapidly in Arabic to someone on the other end. After just a moment, he hangs up and hands you the phone back. In English, he says, "Thank you, my wife is okay." Oh, that's nice. The atmosphere relaxes slightly. No fight breaks out today. Mona and Nizar knock on your door at exactly 8 p.m. "How is everything?" you ask. Nizar shrugs. He has dark circles under his eyes. "As well as it can be. We got registered at the migration agency. They gave us a couple of beds at a halfway house? But they also told us we can't stay here." "They want to take us north," Mona says. "North where?" "I don't remember, but it's far." "You've heard about this. They load refugees up in the buses and drive them to distant northern towns that have room. Just last week there was a story about a bus full of refugees that were driven out to a small forest town and who refused to get off. A lot of people like to say that it was because they were spoiled city people who turned their noses up at help. Others would say it was because no one had told them where they were going or why. And why, sorry. "When?" you ask. "Soon. Can't you just get out of it?" You move your hands in a vague abracadabra motion. I'm trying to imagine what that would look like, sorry. You guys can't see it, but I'm waving my hands around in front of my face trying to, like... I'm imagining it like that from, like, Wayne's World. Like, when it's like... And they're, like, waving their hands up and down with, like, jiggling their fingers everywhere. Jiggling their fingers? How does one jiggle fingers? The fuck am I talking about today? "Which is why it's important that we do this tonight," Mona continues. "Do what?" "Teach you to see and speak." Jesus Christ, my ear is itchy. You sit down at the sofa. "We know you can affect time," Mona says. "We know you can also travel in your mind. Otherwise, you couldn't have done what you did." "You're going to cast your mind back in time," Nizar says. "But how?" Mona smiles. "You're going to help us tell the story." "What?" She and Nizar sit down on either side of you and take your hands. Mona begins speaking in soft, lilting Arabic. After a while, it strikes you that you understand that's what she's saying. "Once upon a time, two siblings lived in a beautiful city. They were happy there, with a thriving family and work that they loved. They loved to walk the ancient streets at night, to breathe in the smells of the city, both lovely and foul." Well, that happened. Then the bombs fell. The family refused to leave. This was their home. They wouldn't buckle under the violence. "It'll pass," they told each other. "It'll pass. We'll endure." It didn't pass. Bombs fell and fell and fell. Relatives were killed. Friends were killed. The fragrant streets destroyed. The great souk ruined. Castles, schools, parks, gone. Food became scarce. Everything became scarce. Finally, what was left of the family decided it was time. They took what they could carry, sold what they could not, and left. The money got them as far as a Turkish beach. You go on, their mother and father said. "Go find a future in Europe." And so they spent their last money on two seats in a small rubber boat. And suddenly you're there, in a crammed little boat in the middle of the ocean. The water is choppy. Water splashes over your fingers where you're gripping at the side. Darkness is falling. You're cold. No one in the boat speaks. A baby is screaming, its mother trying desperately to soothe it. Mona and Nizar are in the middle of the boat, holding hands. Mona's headscarf has slipped back. She looks down at her feet and gasps. "Water!" she shouts. "Water is in the boat!" And all you can do is watch as the boat takes in more and more water and then just gives way under the passengers. All you can do is watch as men and women struggle to stay afloat in the cold November water, as a flailing arm hits Mona in the face and Nizar is pulled under by a panicked man. The sea takes them, one by one. No, this can't happen. Rewind, rewind, rewind. You run across the water, back to where they came from. There they are, Mona and Nizar, standing on the beach. Two rubber boats are in the water. People are crawling into them. One of them, the one that the siblings are heading for, has the squalling infant. You grab Nizar's arm. "Take the other boat." Nizar blinks at you. "What? Ascending? Who are you?" My name is Julia Anderson. I'm in Malmo, in Sweden. Come find me there. You're going to help me do this. But you need to take the other boat. Nazar nods slowly. All right. Next to him, Mona is staring at you intently. Eventually, she nods too, and they get in line for the other boat. You watch as the boat disappears into the darkness. A baby's scream rings out. You can feel the couch under you. Nazar and Mona's hands are warm against yours. You open your eyes. You're back in your own living room. And so you did it, Mona says. The baby, you whisper. System crash. Hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing into Europe. They have nowhere else to go. They need to go somewhere. Over 100,000 people have requested asylum in the country just this year. Sweden has taken in more refugees relative to its population than any other country in Europe. The system was in bad shape before. It's in even worse shape now. People who come here now will literally have to wait years to be granted asylum. They'll be sent by bus to remote areas where they'll have to wait in temporary housing with no access to help, jobs, education. Not even an opportunity to learn Swedish so that they can get on with their lives. But it's getting worse than that now. I've seen it up close. People being herded into a stadium where they sit with no access to decent food or water. Nothing to sleep on. Nothing. That's what we're offering these people right now. The point is, the system is fucked. It's so fucked that those who come here have no hope of a decent life. So what do? Do we let more people in and let them rot in camps? Or do we clean our house up? The answer is none of the above. The answer is we make our politicians get off their asses and start earning their keep. We make new policies. We make room. No matter what Sweden first tells you, Sweden's economy is better than it has been in years. We have the resources to offer all these people new lives. We have the economy. We have the manpower. Let's unfuck the system. Otherwise, we cannot call ourselves human. It's got political. You know, the Steam forums for this game are full of people calling this game radical left-wing propaganda and shit like that, and complaining about politics in games and whatnot. Like you know the type, like those individuals who are just so very concerned about ethics in gaming journalism. In my experience, whenever there's a lot of people calling something leftist propaganda and complaining about how you get your politics out of it, that's usually a good sign that I'm gonna enjoy it when I check it out. So yeah. Day 6, Tuesday. Monday was a short day. The rain has let up. A platform stands in the middle of the square, surrounded on all sides with a steel fence. It looks strangely small under the leaden sky. On the platform, two young men holding Swedish flags flank a microphone. Below the platform, a group of onlookers have gathered. Men mostly, both young and middle-aged. The occasional couple. All of them are white and well-dressed. A line of police officers guards the fence. On the other side of the fence, the protesters. There are about 50 of them so far, staring silently at the platform. You see Reek standing on the edge of the crowd, neither with the onlookers or the protesters. Next to her is a blonde, middle-aged woman in a gray coat. She's speaking into Rike's ear as she scans the crowd. The leader of the Sweden Democrats, Jimmy Åkesson, steps onto the platform. In his suit and glasses, he's the very image of a Swedish middle-class businessman. He looks confident, relaxed. As he steps up to the microphone, the small crowd of supporters clap their hands. The protesters watch in silence. What is he really saying? Why the fuck isn't anyone doing anything? What is he really saying? You don't join the group of protesters, just watch it from a distance as they jeer and shout at the platform. Dear Swedes, Åkesson begins. Silence falls. Dear Swedes, we have gathered here because we are worried. Worried for the state of our country and what's going to happen to us what with the influx of refugees. Sweden has already taken in tens of thousands of refugees only within the last few weeks. Where are they going to go? How is our country going to cope with them all? He pauses. I didn't realize that Like, I thought what was he really saying was going to, like, reveal, like, some, like, they live shit. I didn't realize it was just stand by and let him talk. That's kind of disappointing. The answer is, we can't. The people know this. Our leaders know this. But no one will acknowledge it except the Sweden Democrats. As he goes on and you find yourself listening despite yourself, you... Well, that punctuation fucked me up. Holy shit. You know what it looks like at Nordic Aid. You've seen the queues at the migration agency. You've seen the pictures from the temporary camp and the football stadium. How the hell are you going to take care of them all? Can you really? The current policy doesn't work. It leads to chaos. But what's the alternative? The whole thing makes your stomach clench. You leave without watching the end. Rike comes walking towards you in the street. The woman in gray walks next to her. Leaving? Rike says. You nod. This is Magdalena, Rike says. If I'm mispronouncing any names or anything, please tell me, just so I can fix that. The woman in gray gives you a firm handshake. Up close, her eyes are a piercing blue in the dusk. Interesting, isn't it? She says. What is? The whole situation. You look at Rike. She really is a strange one. Hangs out in the hackerspace and goes to the odd rave party, yet dresses like a businesswoman. And then her skills and her views? And her companion, who more than anything looks like a CEO. You decide to ask them point blank, are you with the Sweden Democrats? Rike and Magdalena exchange glances. Rike cocks her head. No, but I think they are right to question the current policy. We can't just open all the doors and windows and hope it'll be alright. I don't agree. You take a long look at Rike at her smart outfit and fair Nordic features. The furthest you've immigrated was from Denmark to Sweden. You have no idea what these people have been through, you say. You don't understand what we'd be sending them back to. Rike rolls her eyes. I know you like to think of yourself as aware and solidaric and whatnot, but seriously. Yes, these people are in need. No, we can't take care of all of them. These people will be fine with other European countries too. They're middle class, they're educated, they'll be okay. They're traumatized and have lost all they own, you reply. Which they can gain back once they're in a country that has the capacity to take them in, Rike says. But we do have the capacity. There are things that the media doesn't like to tell you, Magdalena interjects, such as the fact that the system has already collapsed. So we rebuild it. Rike sighs. I like you. Let's just agree to disagree for now. She pats your shoulder. Well, she's patronizing. Hey, I heard there's a rave happening soon. You wouldn't know anything about it? You shake your head. Rike nods. All right, let me know, yeah? Sure. You leave Rike and Magdalena and find your bike. You can't get your head around how that woman thinks. There's a text from Ahmed at your phone. Tonight at 23 Beach Forest party. It happens in a little beach forest outside of town. It's cold, but people don't seem to mind. Breaths misty in the strobe light. A little makeshift bar out of a car. The music playing is light, bouncy bird noises, brittle drums. Ahmed drove you here with Mona and Nazar. The atmosphere here tonight is strange. The siblings seem on edge. And then you see her. She's dancing in the middle of the crowd. She's dancing in the middle of the crowd, and you see her clearly despite the darkness. Hair bright red against creamy freckled skin, half naked and barefoot in the light drizzle. She turns around and looks right into your eyes, and it's like being caught in green headlights. Her gaze pushes at you like the midday sun. She smiles at you. Then she's in front of you, and you have no sense of time passing. Let me just say, this paragraph, it's very tense, very hurried feeling, but it does that without being a run-on sentence. I think our friends at the vampire game could fucking learn from this. Who are you? Mona says next to you. I am called Merlinde. Merlinde? Says the woman to her. And you are very welcome here. Merlinde looks at you again, and it makes your stomach flutter. Is this your protege? She's a friend, Nazar says. Merlinde nods. There are more of us here tonight. We have come from all over Scania. What for? Mona asks. We're needed here, she says simply. This region is hurting. Tonight we dance and celebrate. Tomorrow we will begin work. Merlindi gestures at someone. A tall, dark man with a shaven head and a wild beard appears at her side. This is Steve. Hi, Steve. Steve puts his hand over his heart and nods at all three of you. His cheeks dimple as he smiles. The music picks up, and the drums become more insistent. Let's, Steven says. Your phone vibrates in your pocket. You take it out. It's from Rike. The preview says, "Where are you?" Open the message. Fuck Rike. Don't open the message. You stuff the phone into your pocket. Rike doesn't have to know where you are right now. You join the others in the crowd. The music closes in around you like water. You don't notice them until they're right on top of you. It makes you marvel that you didn't see them before. Huge flashlights through the trees, closing in on all sides, dark shapes advancing. The music abruptly cuts off and is replaced by a loud shearing noise of something over your head. Drones. Ah, fuck. People fall silent in the confusion, then in a megaphone. This is the police. You are trespassing on a nature reserve. You will be loaded up into buses and taken back into town. Please comply. The police? Since when do the police use drones? You can see them more clearly now. They're dressed in riot gear, advancing through the trees like an army. While you're staring, someone grabs your arm from behind. It's a young policeman, big as a house. Come with me, he says very calm. Come with me if you want to leave. He said, his voice is very calm. Something is off. His grip radiates a chill that makes your arm go numb. The sound of people shouting around you diminishes. The policeman's eyes are very light gray behind the visor. Come with me, he repeats, and you really want to. You let him lead you away. Then it's like the nearby trees shrug and he stumbles onto a route that wasn't there before. Merlinde yanks on your other arm. This way! She leads you towards what looks like a dark shadow in the line of cops. It's a shrubbery. What are we supposed to hide in there, you say? Trust me, Merlinde says. Why the fuck not? Fine. The shrubbery seems to be much bigger on the inside than on the outside. Oh, it's a TARDIS! That was a predictable joke, I apologize. Inside, Steve is crouching with Mona and Nazar. They look up as you enter. Shit, 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 Steve mumbles. He's scratching something on the ground. Merlinde joins him. What are you doing? Mona asks. The suits are here. We're going to get those fuckers, Merlinde says. The suits? You ask dumbly. They're here for us, Steve says. Somehow they found out that we're here. They're trying to stop us, maybe even kill us. But what for? There's no time, Merlinde says. Listen, this is our place. You just do as you say and we'll be okay. Just do as we say and we'll be okay. You peek out of the shrubbery. The cops are leading the other partygoers away. As they leave, other people come striding through the trees. You can't see them clearly, only that they're not wearing the reflective vests of the police. Come here, Steve whispers. The thing he and Merlinde have scratched into the dirt is a large cross. It's glowing slightly and with an eerie golden light. He points at one of the points of the cross. Sit there. The others position themselves on the other points. Steve pulls out a small knife. I have one better, Merlinde whispers. She puts her hand between her legs. Her fingers come out bloody. Okay. Oh, okay, it's like a blood ritual. She's on her period. Whoa. She drives them into the soil in the center of the cross. Freya, she says, wake your children up. Your enemies are here. At first, there's nothing. Then you feel a faint rumble in the ground and the sound of creaking wood. Let's get those fuckers, Merlinde says and steps outside. You burst out of the shrubbery and into madness. The beech trees are swaying in an invisible wind. Icy cold rain is pelting down on you. The ground all around you trembles with roots bursting out of the ground. Despite the rain, a huge full moon shines down on you through the branches. Four shapes in black are converging on the shrubbery. One of them is Rike, her pale face locked in a stiff frown. She looks at you, and it's like she doesn't recognize you. Give up, she says. Her voice is icy cold. Your little magic won't last. Fuck you, Merlinde says and stomps her right foot on the ground. This is our turf. Roots radiate from her foot. One of them twines itself around Rike's ankles and pulls her to the ground. Behind you, Mona and Nazar are chanting something in Arabic. A hot wind runs through the trees and your ears pop. You hear a scream like the sound of tasing metal. On the ground, Rike raises something that looks like a taser. A loudspeaker sparks to life. Impossibly, grotesquely, it's a weather forecast. And the temperature in Malmo is currently 9 degrees Celsius and expected to drop to as low as 6 during the night. It's overcast and we can expect heavy rains until tomorrow morning, says a dry male voice. Silence falls. It strikes you for a short moment that this magic is a thing of the past, of stories, of myth. It doesn't have a place in the modern world. Mona looks at you. Her eyes are unbearably sad. She knows you have lost. They have lost. Rewind with my phone or run? Fuck it. I've committed to rewinding constantly, so might as well rewind now. While you're steering somewhat, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the point with the, okay, come with me, the route. Merlinde, where are you supposed to hide in there? Going into the shrubbery. Okay. Ria comes striding through the... Okay. What are we supposed to hide in there, you say? Trust me, Merlinde says. Wait, you say. Go, I have a plan. You don't really have a plan, but Merlinde nods at you and disappears into the shrubbery. You know what she'll be doing inside. Rike comes striding through the trees. There you are, she says. Will you please come to your senses? Sure, you say. I'll come with you. Just let the others go. Rike gives you a sad smile. You know I can't do that. These people are dangerous. Dangerous how? We've been over this, she says. Tell me again, you say. No time, Rike replies. The ground heaves and you both stumble. This is your chance. You're not strong, but you're fast, and Enrique is unprepared. You throw yourself at her and drive her into the ground. She lets out an oof. It's all the time Merlinde needs. You hear her come out behind you. A hot wind runs through the trees. You hear the sound of screeching metal. The stench of ozone fills the air. Enrique drives a fist into your stomach. You headbutt her. Her teeth catch on your forehead. You do it again. She moans and relaxes. A root twines itself around her throat. Something sticky is obscuring your vision. You wipe it away just in time to be blinded by an enormous flash. Then silence. Bright dots swim in front of your eyes. The little clearing is quiet. In the middle, Steve, Mona, Nazar, and Merlinde are on their knees. Around them, 4 shapes in black are slumped on the ground. Their bodies are smoking. Mona stumbles to her feet and runs over to where you are sitting. She helps you to your feet. Come on. You look down at Rike. She looks up at you. In the silence, you can hear the faint wheeze of her breath. We can't leave her like this. Leave that bitch where she is. Ooh. I think I'm gonna be nice. What can I say, conscience? We can't just leave her, you say. What do you want to do? Mona says. She would have done worse to you. You don't know that, you say. She just asked me to come with her. And you would have been her prisoner, or worse. I don't think she deserves this. Mona gives you a long look. Please, you say. Merlinde, Mona says. Merlinde gets to her feet and comes over to you. Very well, she says, and kneels next to Rike. She gently unwinds the root around Rike's throat. Rike takes a deep, shuddery breath. Mona puts a hand on Rike's forehead. Go to sleep, Rike, she says. You're too tired. Rike's eyes roll up. Her breathing is less labored. Come on, Merlinde says. You'll regret this, but she's your responsibility now. What about the others? Those? Merlinde jerks her head at the shapes in black. Someone will come for them. We have to be out of here. Where do we go? North. The Northwest is pretty damn cold this time of year. Cold and snowy. You didn't have time to get more than a few basic things before Merlinde and Steve loaded you and the siblings into your old Volkswagen and headed north. It took you 2 days to come here. Well, I guess it's not Tuesday anymore. Along back roads and through deserted villages until you finally reach the end of a hidden-away gravel road. Now you're holed up in a drafty old house that seems to be a safe house of whatever group Merlinde and Steve belong to. Mona and Nazar having trouble handling the cold, but refuse to complain. You called in sick at the bookstore. That's only going to last a week or so before Bojana starts asking questions. From what Merlinde and Steve says, you might you might have to be here for longer than that, since Rike is still out there. You've heard them argue behind closed doors. Steve is furious that Merlinde let Rike live. Merlinde insists that all life is sacred. Alex is confused and angry that you've just up and left. He refuses to believe you decided to go on a spontaneous vacation. You could never lie to him. Not very well. I can tell there's something else, he says. Look, if you want to start something with someone else, just tell me. You're on a romantic trip with someone? Sure, just tell me. So you've told him that you're on a romantic trip with 2 siblings. Huh, was his reply. Risque. Well, it's close enough to the truth. You haven't told him how long you'll be gone. That'll have to be a problem for future, Julia. We hurt them, Merlinde says over tea, but there's no telling how much. It's time to start your education, Steve adds. What education? Your magical one, of course. With all due respect, that's our job, Mona says. She was our protege first, and she shows talents better suited for our ways. I think it's for me to decide, you say. So what will it be, Merlinde asks. You consider. I don't know, you say. Nazar smiles at you. Not knowing is a good start. Epilogue. Epilogue? What? I'm done? This is the end? Sweden to accept more refugees. At a press conference today, Prime Minister Stefan Löfven and Deputy Prime Minister Asa Romson declared that Sweden will adopt an open-door policy for refugees. Sweden has taken the biggest responsibility relative to our population, while other EU countries have done very little. However, we will continue to do so. Our economy is doing very well. We have the resources, we certainly have the space, and above all, we all have the will. Löfven says that the government will allot more money into housing for refugees and education in Swedish to get them back into society as quickly as possible. It will take efforts, and the transition won't be easy. But we see it as an investment in our country's future. With an aging population, there will be a huge need for manpower in several sectors. He finishes, Sweden will be an example, a beacon of hope in a Europe that refuses to take responsibility for people in need. The end. Okay. Karen Tidbeck, I'll have to look her up. So, that was unexpectedly short. Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't more of that. That was, it felt like it stopped just as it was winding up. I'm kind of sad. Maybe there'll be a sequel? I don't know. Maybe... I don't know what's going on. I mean... I liked this. I really liked this, but I'm surprised at how short it was. Yeah, like... It really feels like I just played through, like, the opening few chapters of a much bigger story. And I'd really like to see what happens next. I'm kind of sad about this. Yeah. So... Yeah, so, that's Mage the Ascension Refuge, I guess, the entire game. Very well written. Very... I enjoyed it more, than Vampire. I've enjoyed it. I think the way it's intended to be enjoyed, unlike with Vampire, where I think I'm enjoying it a way that wasn't intended to be enjoyed. Damn fine piece of interactive fiction, I guess. I'm really not happy about this being a, like, I didn't want it to end, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing because it did end. And that's my verdict, I guess. There should be more of it. Why isn't there more of it? So, I guess the rest of my World Darkness Preludes Let's Plays are just going to be focused on Vampire, without any Mage to break it up. Oh joy.